Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real English Podcast. I'm Chloe. If you're here, that means you care about growing. And honestly, that already makes you different from most people. We're so happy you're spending this time with us. Every single episode we put out, we think about you, trying to get better every day. The world right now is moving incredibly fast. New jobs, new technology, new opportunities, and so much of it happens in English. If you want to keep up, if you want to be confident, if you want to open doors for yourself, English is your tool, and we're here to help you use it. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to Real English Podcast. Every day we bring you real practical English that actually fits your life. Not textbook stuff, not boring grammar rules. Real English for the real world you're living in right now. This is your time. Let's make it count.
Hey, I am David here, and she is totally right. I was thinking this morning, some of the most important words in English aren't the big fancy ones. They're the small, everyday ones we use all the time.
That's so true. I was at a coffee shop yesterday and I heard someone say, "Actually, I meant to ask you something." And I thought, wow, that's such a natural phrase. Native speakers use words like actually, anyway, I mean, and by the way, constantly. And today, that's exactly what we're talking about. Everyday conversation words, sometimes called filler words or discourse markers. These are the little words and phrases that make your English sound real and natural. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to use these words correctly, when to use them, and how to make your English sound more like the way native speakers actually talk, not like a textbook.
And here's our question for you today. Do you already use any of these words when you speak English? Write your answer in the comments. We love hearing from you.
First, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
Okay, let's get into it. We're starting with some of the most common conversation words you'll hear every single day.
All right, let's start with 3 words that native speakers use all the time. Actually, basically, and I mean. These words are so common, but a lot of learners aren't sure exactly how to use them. So let's break it down. First, let's talk about actually. The basic formula is simple. You use actually to give correct information, to say something surprising, or to soften a disagreement. Think of it like this: subject plus actually plus verb plus information. Right! So here are some examples. You could say, "I actually like spicy food." That means maybe you didn't expect to like it, but you do. Or, "She actually finished the project early." That's surprising. Or how about, "Actually, I think the meeting is on Thursday, not Friday." You're gently correcting someone. Oh, I use actually all the time when I'm correcting a misunderstanding. Like if someone says, "You don't like coffee, right?" And I do like it, I'd say, "Actually, I love coffee." It's a very natural way to respond. Exactly. And what about the negative? You can say, "I actually don't know the answer." That actually makes it sound more honest and relaxed, not cold or rude. Now, here's a question for you. Can you think of a sentence using actually right now? Pause the episode and say it out loud. Go ahead, we'll wait. Great job. Okay, now let's look at basically. You use basically when you want to give a simple summary or explanation of something. Like, "Basically it means," or "Basically she said yes." It tells the listener, "I'm going to simplify this for you." I love basically for explaining things. If someone asks me what my job is and I don't want to go into all the details, I'd say, "Basically, I help people with their writing." Simple and clear. And then there's I mean. This one is really interesting. You use I mean when you want to clarify, rephrase, or add to what you just said. For example, "It was a great trip." I mean, it wasn't perfect, but I really enjoyed it. You're adding nuance. You're being more precise. Can you use I mean in your own sentence? Write it in the comments. We'd love to see your examples. So to quickly review this section, actually is for corrections and surprises. Basically is for simple explanations, and I mean is for clarifying what you said. These 3 words will make your English sound so much more natural right away. Okay, let's build on what we just learned. Now we're going to look at words that help you move between topics in a conversation. These are incredibly useful because in real life, conversations jump around, right?
Oh, absolutely. Real conversations aren't in a straight line. Someone mentions something and then you think of something else and you want to bring it up. That's where words like by the way, anyway, and speaking of which come in.
Let's start with by the way. You use this when you want to add a new piece of information that's not directly connected to what you were just talking about. Like you're talking about the weekend and then you remember something. Oh, by the way, did you see that movie everyone's talking about?
Here's a little dialogue to show you how it works. Imagine two friends talking. I went to the gym this morning. Oh, nice. How was it? Really good. By the way, I ran into your sister there. See how by the way introduces a new but related idea? It's like a bridge between topics.
Now let's look at anyway. This word is super useful. You use anyway to get back to the main topic after a small detour, or to wrap up a conversation. Like, anyway, where were we? Or, anyway, I should get going.
Formal versus informal? Anyway is mostly informal. In formal writing, you'd say in any case or regardless. But in everyday conversation, anyway is your best friend.
Here's a quick practice activity. I'm going to give you a situation and you think about which word you'd use. Ready? Situation 1. You're talking about your weekend plans, but you suddenly remember to ask your friend about their job interview. Would you say, by the way, or anyway? The answer is, by the way, because you're adding new information, not returning to a topic. Did you get it right? Write your answer in the comments. Now, let's look at speaking of which. This one is really elegant. You use it when something someone just said reminds you of a related topic. Like, I love Italian food. Speaking of which, there's a new Italian restaurant downtown. We should go. First tip, use by the way for completely new topics. Second, use anyway to return to or close a topic. Third, use speaking of which when there's a clear connection to something just mentioned. 3 simple rules. I want you to write your own example using one of these phrases in the comments. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try. That's how you really learn. Great job, everyone. So in this section, we covered by the way, anyway, and speaking of which, 3 words that help you navigate conversations like a native speaker. Main teaching section 3. More conversation words. You know, to be honest, and kind of. These might seem simple, but knowing exactly when and how to use them makes a huge difference.
Let's start with you know. This one is everywhere in English conversation. You use it when you think the listener already understands what you mean, or when you're searching for words. Like, it was just, really awkward. Or, she's the kind of person who, always helps everyone.
The key with you know is not to overuse it. A few times in a conversation, totally natural. Every other sentence, it starts to sound like you're not sure what you're saying. Balance is everything.
Now, to be honest. This is great because it signals that you're about to say something sincere or maybe slightly unexpected. Like, to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the movie. Or, to be honest, I think you should apologize.
I use to be honest when I want to be direct but still polite. It softens the truth a little. It says, I'm being real with you, not critical.
You can also say honestly at the start of a sentence for the same effect. Honestly, that was the best pizza I've ever had. It adds emphasis and sincerity. Okay, now let's talk about kind of, and its cousin, sort of. These are used to make something sound a little less certain or extreme. For example, it's kind of cold today. Or, I kind of want to go, but I'm also tired. Think of kind of as a way to soften your words. Instead of saying, I don't like it, you say, I kind of don't like it. It sounds less harsh. Instead of, it was bad, you say, it was kind of bad. A little more gentle. Let's do a quick mini practice. I'll say a sentence, and you respond using kind of or sort of. Ready?
Here's the sentence. Did you enjoy the party? Think about your answer. Maybe you enjoyed it a little, but not completely. Try saying it out loud.
Something like, yeah, it was kind of fun, but it ended too early. Perfect. Speaking out loud is so important. It helps you remember the words in your body, not just your head.
Tip for politeness: when you're giving an opinion and you don't want to sound too strong, kind of and to be honest are your best tools. They keep conversations friendly and natural.
So in this section, connects you with your listener. To be honest signals sincerity and kind of softens your words. These three little phrases do so much work in everyday English.
Okay, time for the section I personally love: common mistakes. And honestly, both of us have made these mistakes too, so don't worry, you're not alone. The first common mistake is using actually to mean currently. In some languages, a similar word means currently or now, but in English, actually does not mean currently. You can't say, I'm actually eating dinner to mean I'm eating dinner right now. That's just, I'm eating dinner right now, or I'm currently eating dinner.
Incorrect. I actually live in this city, when you mean I currently live in this city. Correct. I currently live in this city. Or if you use actually, make sure it's adding a contrast or correction. Like, actually, I live in Tokyo, not Osaka.
Why is this a mistake? Because in English, actually signals contrast or surprise, not present time. It's a really common mix-up, especially for Spanish, Portuguese, and French speakers.
The second mistake is overusing basically. When you use basically before every sentence, it sounds like you're not confident, or like everything you say is just a rough guess. Use it for real simplifications, when you're genuinely summarizing something complex.
Incorrect. Basically, I went to the store. Basically, I bought some food. Basically, I came home? That sounds strange. Use basically once when you're summing something up. Basically, we spent the whole day exploring the city.
Mistake number 3, using anyway to start a new topic. Anyway is for returning to a topic or wrapping up, not for introducing something totally new. If you want to start a new topic, use by the way or speaking of which.
Incorrect. The weather is nice. Anyway, did you hear about the new restaurant? The weather is nice. By the way, did you hear about the new restaurant?
Mistake number 4, saying to be honest before every opinion. Just like basically, if you use it too much, it loses its meaning. And it might even make people wonder if you're usually dishonest.
Ha, that's a funny one. Save to be honest for moments when your opinion is a little surprising or might not be what the other person expects to hear.
Don't worry if you've made these mistakes. Every learner does. The fact that you're learning them now means you're already ahead. Keep going. You're doing great.
Okay, let's do some practice together. This is called Choose the Correct Sentence. I'll give you 2 options and you pick the one that sounds more natural. Are you ready? Try saying your answers out loud. Situation 1. You want to tell your friend something new that just came to your mind. Option A. Anyway, I wanted to ask you about the weekend. Option B. By the way, I wanted to ask you about the weekend.
Option B is better. By the way, introduces a new, unexpected piece of information. Anyway would sound like you're getting back on track, not starting something new.
Situation 2. You want to explain something in simple terms. Option A. Actually, the app lets you book flights online. Option B. Basically, the app lets you book flights online.
Option B again. Basically is perfect for giving a simple explanation. Actually would suggest you're correcting something, which doesn't fit here.
Situation 3. You want to soften your opinion about a movie you didn't love. Option A. I hated that movie. Option B. I kinda didn't enjoy that movie.
Option B. Kind of makes the opinion sound less extreme and more honest without being harsh. Great for keeping the conversation friendly.
Situation 4. Your friend says they love hiking and it reminds you of a trail you visited recently. Option A, anyway, I found a great trail last weekend. Option B, speaking of which, I found a great trail last weekend.
Option B, speaking of which, connects directly to the topic your friend just mentioned. That's exactly when to use it.
Now here's your challenge. Create your own sentence using any of the words we learned today and post it in the comments. We read every single one.
Don't aim for perfection. Aim for practice. The more you use these words in real conversations, the more natural they'll feel. That's what real English learning looks like.
Wow, what a great episode! I'm really excited about what we covered today because these are words you can start using immediately, like today, in your very next English conversation.
Let's do a quick review. We covered 3 groups of everyday conversation words. First, actually, basically, and I mean for corrections, simple explanations, and clarifying what you said. Second, by the way, anyway, and speaking of which, for moving between topics in a conversation. And third, to be honest, and kind of, for connecting with your listener, being sincere, and softening your words.
You've learned so much today. And remember, the goal isn't to memorize rules. The goal is to start using these words in your real life. Pick one word from today and try to use it 3 times this week. That's it, just 3 times. Here's a question for you to think about. Which of today's words do you think will be most useful for you personally? Is it actually, by the way, kind of? Write your answer in the comments. We genuinely want to know. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. It really helps Real English Podcast reach more learners just like you. Share it with a friend who's learning English and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next.
You're doing amazing. Learning a language takes time and courage, and the fact that you're here, listening, practicing, trying, that means everything. We're so proud of you. Keep going, keep practicing, and remember, every conversation is a chance to get better. We'll see you next time.